it's Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. Looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the day's support, resistance and pivot levels. It is Monday, the 11th of January. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar and the hourly candlesticks, bearish start to the day here. Going to need to see Bitcoin move back through the pivot at 38,286 to bring the first major resistance level, say at 41,313 into play. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Bitcoin to break back through to 40,000 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 41,399 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Bitcoin break through the swing high 41,969 to test resistance at 44,000 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 44,425. Better to move back through the pivot. We'll bring the first major support level at 35,174 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should avoid the 23.6% fib at 33,008. Second major support level sits at 32,147. Looking at the MACD, we've got a widening of the bearish histograms this morning, supporting this early pullback. On the EMA, we're also seeing the 50 narrow in on the 100 and the 200, suggesting a further downside ahead. So key through the early part of the day would be to move back through the pivot at 38,286 to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels are in play. Moving across Ethereum against the US dollar, also bearish this morning. Going to need to see Ethereum move back through the pivot at 1253 to bring the first major resistance level at 1353 into play. Going to need support from the broader market for Ethereum to break back through to 1300 levels. So barring its own rallying on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's swing high 1350.88 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended breakout, should see Bitcoin test the second major resistance level at 1450.88 before any pullback. Failure to move through the pivot brings the first major support level at 1155.13 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should stay clear of the second major support level sitting at 1055.12 and the 23.6% fib at 1051. Looking at the MACDs, we've got a marked widening of the bearish histograms this morning, supporting this early pullback. We're also seeing the 50 EMA narrow in on the 100 and the 200, indicative of a bearish morning ahead. So key through the early part of the day would be to move back through the pivot at 1253 and back through to 1300 levels. Failure to do that and support levels will be in play. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, tracking the broader market, bearish start to the day. Going to see Litecoin move through the pivot at 172.39 to bring the first major resistance level at 184.16 into play. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Litecoin to break through to 180 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and the most recent swing high 186.34 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Litecoin test resistance at 200 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 198.11. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 158.44 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should avoid some 150 and the 23.6% fib at 148. Second major support level sits at 146.67. Looking at the MACD, we've got a widening of the bearish histogram supporting this early pullback, and we're seeing the 50 EMA narrowing on the 100 and the 200 also supporting this early slide. So key through the early part of the day would be to move through the pivot at 172.39 and back through to 180 levels. Better to do that and support levels are in play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, particularly bearish start to the morning. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move back through the 23.6% fib at 0.3172 and through the pivot at 0.3236 to bring the first major resistance level at 0.3606 into play. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ripple's XRP to break back through to 0.36 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of breakout, could see Ripple's XRP test resistance at 0.4 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 0.4060. Better to move back through the 23.6% fib and through the pivot at 0.3236. Would bring that first major support level at 0.2782 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should avoid sub 0.27 levels. Second major support level sits at 0.2412. Looking at the MACD, we have a widening of the bearish histogram supporting this early morning pullback, And we're also seeing the 50 EMA narrowing on the 100 and the 200, signaling a bearish morning ahead. So key through the early part of the day would be for Ripple's XRP to move through that 23.6% fib at 0.3172 and the pivot level at 0.3236 to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels are in play.